This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. You're tuning into the TCSF podcast with Big Z and JC Dynasty Fantasy Football. And we come straight to you from the 606 Media Studios, powered by True Chicago Sports Fans. This is episode 290. Wow. We're 10 away from 300. That's insane. And we're going to dive into what makes Chicago great, which is all our Chicago sports teams. Remember, 606 Media, ultimate source for all things Chicago. Go over to 606media.com and snag your official podcast shirt, or check out our exclusive For the Love of Sports merchandise line. Show off your Chicago pride. There's other stuff from No Water Weekend as well there, so check out their merch. And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, I think that's all for today. Yeah, go ahead and smash and subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. I'm over here thinking about Steven. And if you're listening on your podcast app, please leave a 5-star review. It'll shoot us up on the charts, and really appreciate that. Again, if you're at 606media.com, go ahead. You can check out the rest of the podcast in one location. We have this one. We have a podcaster with myself and No Water on the Weekend. Check out those podcasts out there. Lots of good episodes that you can just listen at any point. No timeline. Just it's not sports, so they're all timeless. So let's strap in and get ready for an unforgettable ride through the best of Chicago sports. I feel like I haven't done this in a while. Chicago sports culture and beyond. Let's get started. And I want to start with the debate because this was All-Star Weekend with the NBA, and the big debate for me, I know, I mean, were talking about it, and we talked about it a little bit off air. Who has the best All-Star game? Let's start out. Who has the worst All-Star game? And I'll let JC go first because I think I know what his answer is going to be, but I have mine.
Personally, I really think that the NFL has the worst All-Star game. Just because, I mean, granted, now that it's flag football, I guess it's like, okay, like I give it a little more credence just because for the past, and the NFL is such a physical game that like the days of old where the All-Star game, what it was when you and I were kids, it's no longer a thing. Like you can't jeopardize like players' ACLs and Achilles and all these injuries to an NFL player for an all-star game. So I understand why they've switched over to flag football. Like it's less contact, it's less, risk of injury and things like that. Don't get me wrong. Freak accidents happen, but I think that flag football is a good option for the NFL to go to in replacement of a true NFL game. Not only that, it kind of promotes flag football to the younger generation, because a lot of these kids now, like they play flag football until I think it's like 12 or 13 now, because, they want to take any risk of, head injuries and stuff like that kind of out of football. So even the younger generations now are playing more flag football until they get to an older age.
Yeah, until they get to high school.
So, after football, I lean towards basketball being third worst. Don't get me wrong. I'd still rather watch NFL than the basketball All-Star game. And I'll be honest with you, I did not watch the basketball All-Star game. So we can talk about it a little bit. I know there was some stuff with Wemby and the effort that he was putting in versus, some of the other players, etc. I kind of read some articles and stuff about that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, the NBA has kind of become a joke. There's no defense played. It's all kind of like and one mixtape, kind of play where, it's just lobs and dunks.
It's a lot like the regular season now. That's what it's like. The regular season is just no defense. Let's chuck it up. That's exactly what it's like. So it's watered down.
Correct. And that's the problem is like there's no like there used to be a rivalry between teams. Like they wanted to win.
Yep.
And again, I don't know how you correct it. I don't know if it's, the fact of like the money needs to be increased on what you're paying the players to participate in the All-Star game, like make it way more valuable to, again, I don't know if it's, hey, we're going to donate $30,000 to each individual player on the team's charity of choice, or, where it incentivizes people to actually play the game.
They did do that a couple years ago. I'm not sure what they did this year because I just saw it was like stars and stripes were two different teams, and then versus the world. In my opinion, for the NBA, you do the NBA versus the world. You get the best 12 players on the NBA team, and then you reach out overseas around the world, and you say, "Hey guys, give us your best 18, and we're going to play them."
Yeah, but I guess. Well, I mean, yeah, the NBA
you
team doesn't really play with each other either regularly, so I could see that being a thing.
Because you're gonna have Wembley,
or how about this?
Joker, everybody else playing
NBA versus like Harlem Globetrotters.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Oh my God, that'll be such a joke.
It's a joke anyway, so why not? To me, like, I mean, the Harlem Globetrotters, like, they shoot enough and practice enough that, honestly, I don't think they would win, but
no, they wouldn't.
I think that they could put something on the court that would be, again, the NBA All-Star game is watered down anyway, so you might as well make it entertaining. The hey, throwing popcorn in the crowd, or the bucket of water that's confetti. Hey, why not have some fun with it? Bring the Globetrotters out.
I would say just you make it NBA versus the world. You limit the roster as well. You're not going to get 20 guys, 25 guys. You're going to limit it to, like, I would say 12, 14. And you get the world. Like, you're going to have Jokic and Giannis and Wembley. You're going to get all that. And then you can still get some guys from overseas, like the best players overseas that are playing at elite levels, and make a good world team. And I tell you right now, you make it to 100, and first one to 100 wins. And you got to pick up the pace. Shot clock is 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That means you're pushing the ball. You've got to push the ball.
I was reading an article very similar of like, how do we save the NBA? And instead of like 4 quarters for 15 minutes or, whatever the time is, typically going to first to 120, or whatever the score is after, I think it was like 50 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those, like you are now on, like, it's either first to 120 or first to etc. And it kind of changes, like, where it's more important for your best players to stay on the court. You know what I mean? Or the 5th and 6th man be more important as well. Because like there's no more like, all right, end of the first quarter, end of the second quarter, end of whatever. It's like, no, you keep playing the whole time. And like I said, at the end of the 40 minutes or whatever, game over.
Yeah, I would say let shorten the shot clock, make it 18 seconds. All right, you do that. You play straight through 2 halves. You're playing 2 halves of basketball, not 4 quarters, 2 halves. All right, they have to have a break. Come on, even soccer players get a break. 2 halves, which is great. I think we know why they do 4 quarters, for the revenue of the TV money. So that's where we won't get that.
Yeah.
So that's the only issue with that. But yeah, speed up the pace, increase the shot, limit the shot clock to being a shorter time. I would say first to 100. There's some urgency. Teams will design their players to shoot more higher percentage shots rather than that run and gun. Every possession can mean something. If you want to shoot threes, go ahead. You'll get there very quickly, right? And if it's at 100 points in the third quarter, then it's 100 points in the third quarter, and that's the game. There's another problem, right? Where's the revenue from the fourth quarter? The commercials and the concessions, right? That's what we started worrying about with the pitch clock in baseball, where games were 3.5 hours. Now they're 2 hours and 15 minutes. So where do you make up that money from the concessions? Well, obviously the teams already started advertising on their jerseys. There's other ways to go around there to make more money. Put some signage on the court, whatever you got to do. There's a way to make money, but the game is broken right now, and the All-Star game is the worst. It is the worst. You had Damian Lillard come back from his ACL to shoot in a 3-point contest and beat everybody. The dunks contest was a joke. Some dude from Orlando, did you see that, where he tried to do this crazy dunk and he fell down and hit his head?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, it was, yeah, he had somebody bounce it off the side of the backboard and he tried to catch it, and then when he dunked, they slipped and fell and hit his head, and they still let him do another dunk. I was like, no, absolutely not. The kid's
that man's got a concussion.
The man concussed. Yeah, and then obviously the way every year they change the format, so it's like how do you keep track of that? And then it's like, oh, these guys got picked by the team captain, and no, man, this like they treat it like AAU. Did the light fall? The light fall, yeah, and yeah, it was about to happen, and yeah, they treat it like an AAU or like PE class, like, oh, I got this guy and this guy, and they try to stack up their teams.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It is the NFL at the bottom. Then I think the NFL and NBA are tied for the bottom spot. Let's put it that way, because I don't think either one's entertaining.
Like I said, I think NFL for me gets the bottom spot because it's not true NFL. It's flag football. So that kind of disqualifies it to me of like, you're not even playing the proper sport.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, therefore it's last. However, again, I do find it more entertaining because again, like it, even if the guys played like arena football where it's like 7-on-7 or something like that, and you're only playing 50 yards, you know what I mean? Like the contact's less, stuff like that. I'd be fine with that for the NFL.
I think with the NFL, you could definitely do like a Legends game where you have Peyton Manning going out there throwing passes. He's not going to get hurt. He's just throwing the ball. He doesn't have to really move, right? Or Peyton versus Peyton, right? And then you have a bunch of 7-on-7 old timers playing football. I think it'll be hilarious, right? It'll be entertaining, and then you can have, you do that for, let's say 30 minutes, right? And then the next game would be the NFL players doing 7-on-7 as well. And again, you can tweak the rules to make it more entertaining.
Well, they kind of did that where like 1 year Peyton Manning and I think who was it? It was Peyton versus Eli, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
As the coaches for the NFL, whatever. But an interesting one for me for like the NBA would be like, okay, what if we did an all under 25 versus the vets? So like you're playing rookie, sophomore, junior players, like players under 25 versus like, Giannis, LeBron, whatever. So like you got the old versus the new. Like to me, maybe that brings some competition out because the young players want to, like I said, I don't know how you fix it. I'm just throwing ideas against the wall of, and again, like, we know what the Olympics are where, you got like Team Spain, France, et cetera, going against Team USA. So yeah, I could see the all world team, but then it becomes, okay, does Wemby play for the NBA or does he play for all?
Oh, he plays for France. No, he plays for France.
So he would play for the international team.
Right, exactly, for the international. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have a lot of international national players that are really, really good.
Correct.
So I think it'd be very competitive that way. And again, that's you limit your roster to 12 or maybe even 10. So that way it's like, all right, old guys, you got to make sure you're making this worth your while because, you're going to be playing a long time. So the people want to see the stars. If they're available to play, they should be playing. And then why is the dunk contest like these nobodies? No, let's get the dunkers out there. And if you win, you have to come back and defend your title unless you're hurt. But you have to come back and defend your title. and then bring somebody from the G League to come up, because those guys are real reckless about dunking. They love to dunk. Why not make it entertaining?
Yeah,
I see better dunks on YouTube than I do in the damn NBA competition.
Yeah, I mean Jordan Kilgallen, I've talked about him before on the pod. He was kind of one of those guys that, the Shaq and some of those guys were doing like I don't know if it was a YouTube thing or like an old MTV thing where they had like a dunk contest of like, random people that weren't necessarily NBA players. And Jordan Kilgallen is one of those guys that's known for doing some weird dunks and some crazy stuff. And he's not a basketball player. All he does is kind of, but the problem is again, where the NBA, it used to be like these stars wanted to come out and put on a show.
Yeah.
Like this new NBA is more like, no, I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
And it's the egos, it's the attitudes, it's
the prima donna stuff. Yeah.
Right. And again, it's even the, like, when you and I grew up, Michael Jordan never took a night off.
Right.
Very rare. I mean, the dude played through the flu game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and here it's like these guys are just like, oh, my back's a little sore. I'm going to sit out for the next 3 games. And it's one of those where, like I said, it's something, the load management, all this, it's garbage. And it's like, I'm sorry. You're getting paid 32 million, 25 million, and you're going to sit there and complain about load management to me? I'm sorry. I don't care.
No, that's rich people problems at that point. Cause like, oh, I don't feel like it. Where the guy at the end of the bench making, league minimum can be sent down to the G Leagues. Like, I will play every game. I'll run through walls, whatever. Right. And they took the hunger away. Again, we've seen it in a lot of sports where the money, once the guy gets paid, gets that big contract, you see the numbers diminish. You see the grind stop. Yes, you want them to get rewarded for putting in the hard work and producing for the team. But at the same time, these numbers are getting astronomical and ridiculous. And yeah, there's no drive anymore. We see that with boxers, right? We talked about this the other week, right? Boxers get in the ring, they get to the top, they get the championship, and they get all the money now. Now their production company is producing the match and this and that. So now they're making millions and millions outside of boxing with the match. And it's like, oh, I don't have to train that hard. I could take a day off. Oh, I'll just do, the bare minimum. And then they get knocked out, right? There's no drive. And that's what's killing those two sports, in my opinion, when it comes to more in the NBA, that these guys getting low management. Guys, you have nutritionists, you have chefs, you have personal trainers, you have team trainers, you have team doctors. Jordan was, chugging back a Miller Lite
deprivation tanks, hyperbaric chambers. Yes. Like these guys
have everything.
Yeah.
And they can't play back.
Yeah. I mean, look, and don't get me wrong. Like I understand, like, there was an article that came out about LeBron James and how much money he spends trying to keep his body in top professional shape and all this yada, yada, yada. Right.
That's why he's played 20 something years. Yeah. That's the only reason.
But there's also plenty of people that speculate that, he does HGH and a bunch of other stuff. So, there's that too. So, which is against rules of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is, and again, that's all speculative. That's all hearsay. You hear stuff and you don't know if it's true or not. But at the end of the day, the product that the NBA puts on for the All-Star game, trash. Like I said, of the 4 major sports, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, it's third in my opinion. Because there's
hockey one?
No, I'm putting hockey too. I'm putting hockey too. Because I like the skills portion of hockey. Like I like the, they put the plates in the goals and you're fastest person to hit all 5 plates. Love that. I love the speed skating aspect. I love the, you have to, puck handle through like the obstacle course. Like I love that kind of stuff when it comes to the hockey all-star game. But the hockey all-star game actually plays an actual hockey game.
Yes.
And it's still, and where the NBA, it's a joke, the hockey players still take it pretty serious. They
Yes,
still put on a good game.
Yeah, I agree with you more that I think hockey would be my number 2, and it is a fun weekend as well. What they do with the skills portion and then the actual game, the futures game, they do all of that. They do a really good job about that. And now that obviously technology is a lot better, we get all the stats up on the screen now. We have HD TVs, you can see the puck; it's clear as day. Not like back in our CRT TVs, you're like, where'd the puck go? And then the camera guy don't even know where the puck went. Hockey has benefited a lot from technology, and I feel like that would be my number 2. I would be excited, yes, to watch a hockey game for the All-Star break. So hockey is my number 2. We agree on that. So we're saying baseball is number 1.
I am saying baseball is number 1.
Look at that. Giant sport is still number 1.
And the reason why it's number 1 for me is the home run derby. Because I still feel like the home run derby is something like I enjoy watching. I don't know why. It's just, a couple guys out there that are, and maybe it stems from my childhood when it was Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire years, and they were just freaking rocking balls to the moon. And maybe it's one of those where there's the rumor that there's a couple guys that are starting like a sports league where it's like, no, like enhancements are, encouraged.
Allowed. Yeah.
I'm kind of one of those where like, I kind of want to see it. Like, I want to see what, how far can a baseball be hit when the dude's juiced up to, the moon?
We see that. We lived through that. Come on. The McGuire and Sammy days and who else? Ruben Sierra and all those guys were all juiced.
Yeah. Like I said, the interesting thing to me is, like I said, the baseball game itself, it's okay. I tend, if I'm home and able to watch it, I'll watch it. But life gets in the way. I work weekends sometimes, and sometimes I'm not able to watch.
It's on
stuff like that.
it's on a Tuesday. Yeah, that's on a Tuesday, man. All-Star games on a
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I
Home
work
run derby is Monday. Yeah.
I work Tuesdays.
There you go.
I work evenings as well, so that's another part of the problem. But end all be all, the baseball team actually plays a baseball game. So and that also equals into home field advantage. It also so there's incentive. Like even though they don't want to play very hard, like they still play because there is an incentive.
Well, they took that away. They took out the winning league that wins gets home field advantage. They took that away, and I thought that was a great incentive. You're like, they took that away, and I'm like, that was a great incentive. And you're like, oh, but it doesn't matter because what if? Hey, man,
It does matter to me.
You put good players on your team. They get elected to the All-Star game. They can get you home field advantage if you get to the World Series. You've got to do your part on your side, on your team, and your field, and your production to get elected into being one of the All-Stars, and then you play your ass off so that your team has the best advantage, which is home field advantage. Yes, do that. I just didn't enjoy it. At first, I thought it was gimmicky, but I'm like, no, now there's more strategy to it. There's a lot more strategy to it. And then,
But not only that, like I said, and this is the problem with football and basketball is how do you incentivize the players to care about the game?
Yeah.
And home field advantage like that in baseball was one way to get the players to be like, hey, you know what? Our team is good enough to make the playoffs this year. It would be nice if we can make it all the way to the World Series that we do have home field advantage. And I'm not saying that every player thinks about that during the All-Star game. But again, it's little things of how do we manipulate or how do we incentivize like actual play? Because again, like if the baseball players go out there and next thing you know, it turns into, and nothing against this, but it turns into like a banana ball kind of thing where, or like a Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, it's one of those where I don't know. Although that would be kind of cool. Like see like, now the banana ball has like a bunch of teams.
And we have a Chicago team, the Snowballs.
Yeah. So like I said, it would be interesting to, the winner of the Banana Ball League versus, the All-Star team of
Oh no, come on.
MLB.
I mean, you're looking at minor league guys that are playing banana ball.
Yeah, but what if they win? What if they embarrass the MLB?
What if?
What if? There's any given Sunday, baby. Yeah, I mean, like it's different when you talk about like, okay, NFL guys versus, people that have, because the talent level in the NFL for football is so top tier that is like you can't play against, a men's flag football team.
No.
Baseball, it's like, dude, there's so many players in the minors and the AAA and all this stuff, where it's one of those like, and not again, like not to talk trash about the Savannah Banana guys, but I mean, they have a lot of former, AAA, AA guys that, were wasting away and never thought they were going to make it to the show. So this is kind of like, hey, you know what? I can still make $80,000 a year and play the game I love in a new way that's, exciting and fun in stadiums that are still packed and sold out.
Yeah. And the schedule's a lot less than what you're doing. I mean, but you're doing more entertainment, which is, if you can do that, you have the personality for that, the dance routines that they have to practice and, they walk up and down the crowd and, it was a good time. I mean, I went last year and I had a good time. It's very gimmicky. He's very like Harlem Globetrotter.
Yeah, I mean, I put in for the lottery for tickets this year.
Yeah, so did I.
We'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll get them or not, but
we'll see. Hopefully, lightning strikes twice.
Where are the Snowballs going to be playing in Chicago?
They have to be playing at Rosemont, I'm assuming. I don't know where else they would play.
Where at in Rosemont, though? Because the only Rosemont I know of is the female softball.
No, you have the Chicago Dogs.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Is that the same field? I don't know if that's the same field. I haven't been to a Dogs game.
I've never been to a Dogs game, so I couldn't tell you.
We gotta
like I said, I know when I hop 94-294 and take the ramp there, like you have the women's softball field there with the dome practice field. So I mean, but that's the only baseball field I knew of. Now you have King County Cougars, you have the Bombers, so you do have baseball fields out towards like bowling.
Yeah,
like
but I think they would be playing at one of the MLB teams because they're selling out college stadiums now. They're selling over 100,000 tickets, so they're going to be using the largest arena that they can use. They might even play at Soldier Field next year. After this, after they play at Wrigley this year. I mean, they can sell it out. I mean, it's only 60,000 fans that fit.
Well, but yes, so that's the thing is like, but they're only playing at Wrigley for one game, right?
Correct.
But what I'm saying is, once the Snowballs are a team and say they have a 30-game schedule,
yeah, they travel.
There's no way the Cubs are going to let them play 30 games.
No. They travel all the time. So like when I saw
if the Bears do move to Arlington Heights and Soldier Field becomes an empty stadium, now I don't know if the dimensions will work.
They made it work. They make it work. They've played in college football, the stadium, and they sold that out. And yeah, you just have like right field as a short porch. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's
but I mean, like I said, even if they did, like, okay, the Snowballs are going to be playing there for from now on, and that's how you make Soldier Field, whatever. They could also do a little construction work and tear it out and redo some things and add seats and or even raise the field, to there's ways that they can make it a baseball field inside Soldier. But yeah, because the Fire are building their own field.
Yep.
So it's not like so what do you do with Soldier Stadium, right?
It's a concert venue now.
Well, yes, it's a concert venue, but that's not going to pay the bill.
Hey, not my problem. Not the Bears'
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, although I guess technically you could hold high school football games, college football games, things of that nature in Soldier Field.
Yeah.
But again, it's still one of those, like, they owe $200 million, is it, or something?
It's
Like
a lot.
that's not going to pay the bill. So, and then it's like, are they going to put a roof over it so that it can be a concert venue year round?
No, they can't touch the pillars.
Well,
You know,
then there's got to be ways that they can do it, because it was promoted years ago of, putting a roof on it, or, some sort of, like, it's still open to the elements from the sides, but there would be a roof that would just at least keep rain and snow from, being introduced to the problem.
I don't know.
All right, back to the original story. So yes, baseball would be my number one, just because, again, I guess they actually play baseball.
Yeah, it's still entertaining to see the All-Star game, and then that the fans pick they pick I think about 90% of the players, and then the coaches have one or two slots, stuff like that. I think it's still fan friendly. It's still a must see. If they have it here. Oh, Wrigley's getting the All-Star game in a couple years. So
yeah, Wrigley, I think it's in, I forget what year, but yeah, that was a big announcement last year.
Right. So we got to start saving up for that. Yeah.
I'll be standing out on like Waveland and whatever.
Oh yeah, for the home run derby.
Home run derby.
We're all going to be there. Yes, definitely.
I don't know that I'll be in the stadium, but I might be outside. Although that would just be dangerous. There's going to be so many people out there trying to catch home run balls.
Yep.
People fighting over stuff. Yeah, no, that'll be.
Just stand back and let it bounce to you. Just wait till it bounces to you.
Yeah, stand in somebody's front yard.
Yep. All right, JC, let's take a quick break. And on the flip side, we're going to talk Chicago Bears, what's going on with the stadium, and possible movement on the roster. And then we'll wrap up with let's do baseball prediction. What do you think the Cubs and White Sox will do? Because there's not much news because they're starting spring training this week. So we will talk about that. And I know the Cubs signed somebody. We'll talk about that. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/. Or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports. Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
The TCSF podcast with Big Z and JC. And let's talk Bears football. And I know we have our capologist, JC, here, who knows all things about the cap. And what is going on? There's lots of rumors of who should we sign. Are we going to trade our number one pick and get Crosby? What's the asking price? And what are we going to get back, So, JC, take it away on that.
So rumors right now are that, essentially there's going to be, well, I read an article today. Cole Kmet wants to stay. All right, we can cut Cole Kmet, save, I think it's $5 million. We would owe him $3 million in dead cap. So again, we would get $5 million towards cap savings. Do I think Cole Kmet's performance is worth the $8 million we owe him? I think for one more year, yes. I think you keep him for the $8 million because, let's be honest, Loveland is great. Loveland is the guy that's going to be the stud from here on out. But Cole Kmet as a blocking tight end, as a backup to Loveland, is still very important and integral to the Bears. Like, he does a lot of the grunt work in the blocking and everything of that nature to keep him on the team. For $8 million, it's not a bad deal.
Definitely a keeper.
You know, we ended up paying who was the guy from Green Bay and stuff. We brought in a couple guys a couple of years back with Loveland when he was like a rookie, and we ended up paying those guys like $8 million. And to me, Cole Kmet is better than those guys were when we signed them to big $6 to $8 million contracts. So to me, you keep Kmet. Then you have to make a decision at cornerback because you have
Nahshon Wright.
Nahshon Wright.
He's priced out. He's priced out. He's going to be asking for 16, 18 million a year.
And that's what I was about to say. It's one of those where if some team like the Jets goes ahead and offers him $16 million, Nahshon, it was great having you.
Yep.
But let's be honest, he fell off in the second half of the season. He had a lot of great plays in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, the interceptions disappeared. Everything, you know, don't get me wrong, he was still a good player, but the takeaways disappeared. All right. Then you look at CJ Gardner-Johnson. I could see him on a short, cheap contract, maybe something in the $5 million range, which intrigues me because when you look at, do we keep Brisker? Personally, I do not think we keep Brisker. I think Brisker is going to price himself out of what we can afford, which is why CJ Gardner-Johnson is kind of interesting.
I can see it as an insurance plan because you are going to have to redesign the entire secondary just
Correct.
because these guys are either aging out, level plays dropping, contract. So yeah, I agree with you. He's got to go.
Yeah. So that's why I say CJ Gardner-Johnson, depending on what goes on with his contract and what he's offered, may intrigue me as a stopgap until we can draft some guys or be the veteran to the rookies that we bring in. Brisker, once again, I think is going to price himself out of our range.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like Brisker, but with his injury history, with the fact that he's probably going to demand, say, 9 to 13 million, something like that a year, I think it's going to be too rich for our blood with his injury history. He balled out for us. He played his ass off for us in the championship game and all that stuff, and in the playoffs. He balled out, but it's one of those year after year after year. It's a game here, 2 games here, 3 games there. It's these little nagging injuries and things of that nature. That is just like, can I risk $13 million a year with his injury history, with his age, et cetera? I don't think we can. Byard is a guy I want to keep. I like Byard. Again, he has outperformed his contract. We'll see what his contract becomes. If he is in the $6 to $7 million range, if we can keep him, I'm for it. I'm fantastic. I'm all for it. That pretty much covers secondary wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there might be some, or, whatever, some of those cheaper guys that I'm not going to talk about because we could obviously re-sign them, no problem. You know, they're backups, special teams, etc. That brings us to linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. I believe he is gone.
Yeah, you've got to cut him. There's no way you can. Again, there's a lot of these contracts that I know we're going to talk about in a second that need to be restructured. If he wants to restructure his contract where it's team friendly, and he gets paid out a bonus, okay, that's great. But if he wants to, the big money, you've got to go. And again, I think that the Bears will be active when it comes to free agents, but they're going to be smart because they want to continue to have draft capital and cap availability going years into the future. So you're going to see a lot of movement. A lot of these guys that were on this team are not going to be on the team next year. And that he's definitely one of them that's going to be gone. TJ is going to be gone. We'll see.
And there's plenty of linebackers out there that you can pick up this year in the draft to replace him. And they're speedy, fast, sideline to sideline guys. One of them is, his last name is Lawson. I did a mock draft where I picked him up in the second or third round. I sent you the mock draft in the group chat. And like I said, I picked him up. I believe it was in the second round or third round. I can't remember which. Because it had to have been third round. I picked up Lawson because I did McDonald. Then I did a safety out of Oregon, which I always have trouble saying his name. It's like Thianson or something like that. But people know who he is. People like him. He's a safety out of Oregon. Then I took Lawson. Then I took another safety in the fourth round, Bud Capri or something like that. I might be getting the last name wrong, but I know his first name is Bud. He's another safety. He's more of the in-box safety where Thianson is the free safety. Okay. So again, I'm basically in the mock draft I went all defense. I went McDonald in the first round, Thianson in the second, safety out of Oregon, Lawson, he's either Ohio or Georgia, I forget which, linebacker. Then I took Bud Capri, safety, and then I went a edge rusher, and I forget what school he's out of. Sorry, I'm trying to pull out my phone here. But the edge rusher, if you go look him up, he's one of those like high motor guys. He's like 6'3", 260 in the weight. But he's one of those high motor guys, like doesn't quit, keeps coming. And for a guy that you're going to be picking in like the sixth round, like I'll take that all day long because like that's kind of what I'm looking for. So the guy, edge out of Western Michigan, Nadame Tucker. The safety is Bud Clark out of TCU. So I was talking about him. So Nadame Tucker out of edge, Western Michigan. Then I took another defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, Xavier Harris. And then Markel Bell was my very last pick. He's like a 6'9", ridiculously tall tackle from Miami. Again, late flyer pick on a tackle. He has his issues with, speed, pass rush, things of that nature, but it's just knowing that we are down a tackle. I threw a very, very late pick at it, but so again, pick 25. I took Caden McDonald, defensive tackle. 57, Dylan Theinman, safety out of Oregon. Pick 89, I took Deontay Lawson, linebacker out of Alabama. Bud Clark, safety out of TCU at pick 129. Nadame Tucker, pick 163, edge out of Western Michigan. And then Xavier Harris. My whole goal with like that mock draft was I want to plug up all the run holes. So Caden McDonald, Xavier Harris, Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, And then Turner was another defensive tackle that we drafted last year. So between those 5 guys, great. I just put some big bodies and some big boys in there at defensive tackle to stuff the middle. Then my next goal was, hey, I'm looking to replace Brisker and Byard long-term with Theinman and Bud Clark. Those are my 2 guys that will replace those 2 long-term. And then Deontay Lawson is my guy to replace Tremaine Edmonds long-term.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I can see the Bears going all defense to address all the needs, all the holes that we're going to have.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've seen this report, but the Miami Dolphins, who we play this year, announced that they waived Tyreek Hill, Ed Rusher, Bradley Chubb, wide receiver Nick Westbrook, I can't say his last hyphenated name, and guard James Daniels. Anything pop out there?
Bradley Chubb definitely pops out at me, just from a standpoint of, once again, we do not have to give up a pick in order to get him. But he's one of those guys where he's kind of been not a top pass rusher, but he's one of those guys that consistently finishes in like the 8 to 9 sack range. And it's one of those, like, he's never really had someone across from him.
Yeah.
So like if you put him across from Sweat, maybe you get more production out of him.
How does that work, JC? If they get released, is that contract, is that paid out through that team? And then if they sign somewhere else, it's a new contract? Or if you sign them, you're picking up that contract? How does that work in the NFL?
So during the season, there's what they call waivers. So if a team drops a player during the season, he would go up for waivers. If a team picks him up on waivers, then that team is picking up the contract as is. If they clear waivers, nobody picks them up, then it's a new contract. So the old team still technically owes them like whatever dead money, et cetera, is still owed. But they are not necessarily owed anything more than the dead money. Again, what Bradley Chubb being cut, the Bears would sign him to a new contract. They would not be paying him what the Miami Dolphins were paying him.
Yeah, he was getting $18 million.
Yeah, no, we would not be signing him for that. We would hopefully be getting him for less. So that said, I'm looking. He had a down year last year. He had almost half the solo tackles of the year before. So assisted tackles about the same. Sacks, I mean, here we go. 2018, 12 sacks. 2019, 1, but he only played 4 games. 20, he had 7.5, played 14 games. 2021, 0 sacks, played 7 games. That's a concern right there. 2022 in Denver, played 8 games, had 5.5 sacks, but he only played 8 games for Denver. He got traded that year, played the last 8 games for Miami, and finished with 2.5 sacks there. So again, when you look at his stats, he's about a 7 to 8 sack a year guy. And
what did our guy have?
I'm sorry.
What did our guy have? What did
But the bottom line is you do not want to pay someone who's 7 to 8 sacks a year $18 million, which is why he's being cut by Miami.
Yeah, so how many does Sweat have?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Sweat. He's making 25 mil. DJ Moore 28.
Oh
mil.
no, yeah. Let me tell you, Sweat's his stats are not going to equal up to what we're paying.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. But if he has hope on the other side, and
it definitely could cure some issues. That's for sure.
Right.
Let's see. Sweat last year, 10 sacks. 2024, he only had 5.5. So while in Chicago, 2023 altogether, he had 12 and a half sacks in 2023. He had 5.5 2024. This year he had 10. So again, if you give Sweat, in my opinion, some help, especially because our defensive tackles were not great.
No.
When you look up like the PFF grades for Gervon Dexter, Billings, and Grady Jarrett, they were ranked pretty bad. Like I think Billings was like 112. I think Gervon Dexter was somewhere in the 60s. And like I said, that's not going to help Sweat because they're going to allows them to double team our edge. And then not only that, when you don't have a good edge rusher across from Sweat, now, like I said, that's where they can just really focus on stopping Sweat. So
we watched the games this year. We saw what we couldn't do, what he did do when he was available to do it. And the other thing was, Odabingo. Why can I not say his name today?
Deo. Call him Deo.
Deo. Yeah, Deo, and who's the other one that didn't play at all?
Well, if you're talking about Turner, he was drafted so he was a rookie last year. I think he only played about 4 or 5 games before hurting himself. And personally, I think that was a huge loss because I think we were really planning on him coming along last year and helping us in that defensive tackle room. Without him, like I said, we had to play more of Billings. We had to play more of Grady Jarrett, where I think they really wanted to use Jarrett as more of a specialist, come in on like third down kind of stuff.
Right.
So due to injuries, I think we had to play certain guys out of what we were really hoping.
Yeah, Booker started coming around later on in the season, but not enough.
Oh yeah, listen, and that's why I said like the Namde kid that I drafted in like the 5th or 6th round kind of reminds me of like a Booker. Like he's not ready yet, but it's one of those like when you go watch his film, he is constantly chasing down guys from behind. He is constantly like high motor, not giving up on plays, like just a good, solid guy that could be part of your rotation.
Yeah, so they have a lot of work to do. And when is the season? When does the offseason officially start? When stuff can be moved around?
Let's see, because I mean, the NFL offseason never ends.
I know that's what I know.
They just did the Senior Bowl, so let's see, NFL offseason schedule. Because, like I said, I know they just did the Senior Bowl.
I got you here.
Here we go. February 17th, designation of franchise and or transition players. So that's tomorrow.
Right.
We're going to start finding out who's being franchise tagged and who's going to be transitioned. March 11th, free agency officially starts. March 3rd, deadline for teams to designate franchise or transition players. March 9th through 11th, teams can negotiate. So basically free agency starts March 9th. They can negotiate.
You can nothing can be official to the 11th, but March 9th is the open tampering period where you can talk to anybody.
Yeah, where most of obviously there's always those few guys that, due to physicals or whatever, they don't get signed, but usually all the breaking news starts March 9th of this guy signed with this team, etc. And then you're all sitting
3 weeks
there,
away.
like how did that guy sign 5 minutes after midnight?
Yeah. Well,
but again, so getting back to the Bears, there's a lot of rumor right now about Max Crosby and what we can do to get Max Crosby. In my opinion, there is nothing I would do to go get Max Crosby just for the simple fact of the cost. It's one of those where it's just cost prohibitive of giving up not only a first this year, potentially DJ Moore, and say a second next year. it's too rich for my blood.
Yeah, definitely too rich. What if
Wait,
it was a first and a fifth? One first and one fifth.
no DJ Moore?
No DJ Moore.
Then I would do it.
So it was,
Because let's be honest, Max Crosby is worth a first round pick.
yes.
The problem I have is after this year, looking at what Rome did, looking at what Loveland did, looking at what Luther Burden did, all of that stuff, right? I still think that wide receiver room needs a veteran like DJ Moore in it to still give the veteran, presence, the veteran, hey, here's what we are trying to do, kind of, in that room, the wide receiver room. That said, I still think Luther Burden is going to be a huge player for the Bears. For me, like guys like OZ, see ya. I'm letting you walk. The Kenneth Walker kid, who came on at the end of the year, like 5 catches, but like guys like that, I would give them more of an opportunity. Devin Duvernay, etc. Like, yes, I know they're special teams and returners, but they didn't really help the offense at all ever. They made a play once every 3-4 games. And I understand, like, you sign a Devin Duvernay more to be a special teams returner than anything else. But
he's just a hands guy. Yeah, he's just a hands guy.
Yeah,
he can catch the ball. He's not going to fumble those things. So it's a security.
Yeah, but my bigger issue is with OZ, Omalai Zacharias. I cannot go another season just watching that guy have balls hit him in the hands, hit him in the chest. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I was at training camp, OZ was fantastic in training camp, and I don't know what happened come season where he just had stops, and I'm just sitting there going, the guy I saw in training camp was not the same guy I'm watching every weekend. And I got to be honest with you, I was disappointed because I really, from what I saw in training camp, I thought OZ was going to be a guy, and I was wrong.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more stuff that's going to happen with the Bears in the next couple of weeks. I know the lawmakers are meeting about helping the Bears get the stadium done in Illinois with infrastructure payments and all that stuff. That's moving on a daily basis. So check back on the Facebook page where we report all that stuff. I don't want to get into.
Let's be honest. I think the lawmakers finally figured it out that one way or another, the Bears are getting their own stadium.
Yeah.
And we either need to get on board and keep this team here, which will still give us revenue, because again, they're still going to have concerts at the new stadium. They can have bull riding events. They can have all kinds of, monster truck,
I mean, no, they can stay at the Allstate Arena. What they're going to get is they're going to get the big concerts. They're going to get a WrestleMania. They are going to get a Final Four. They're going to get a Super Bowl. Once you have that,
I don't know that they will, because the new stadium still, from what they are saying, it's still going to be a very small stadium.
Yes, I think their seating said 68,000, and
I have to look it up because it was one of those where it's like I just remember Soldier Field was X amount, and then the new stadium was like 3,000 more people from what I remember.
Oh, then it's 65 because Soldier Field 60. I think it fits 60 to 62. But yeah, again, we're still in preliminaries. They still have drawings. It's still early. Caleb's gonna be on his second contract when they put when they start building it. So I'm not worried about that, just because that's gonna change on a daily basis. We've seen what Indiana wants to do.
So here you go. Soldier Field, with its 61,500 seat capacity, was the smallest stadium in the NFL, but the new stadium's capacity starts at 60,000 and can expand to 70,000 for major events. To me, like, if you're not in the 73 to 75 range, like,
what are you doing?
what are you doing?
What
Like
are you doing?
I understand. Like you do not need 100,000 people.
No.
I understand that, but for like the larger events, like you said, like WrestleManias, that kind of stuff. Even the expanded to do 70,000, I think is a little on the light side.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other thing with that is that once you start getting into those, big numbers, those seats start going further and further back. So,
Correct.
yeah, so that's the problem.
But again, when you look at the renderings that I've seen, it's like we have a big window over here in this end zone. It's like, yeah,
I don't need
like I'm sorry, like what window at what the window's looking at what skyline, what lake, what in Arlington Heights, I do not need a window.
No.
What I need is about 5,000 seats in that end zone, and then put a jumbotron over there. You know what I mean? Put a video board over there, put something over there, that again, I don't need a window. I can use a huge billboard over there or something for advertising or for whatever. Because how many stadiums now have we watched where like Jerry's World has a huge window and then the players can't even see during like the second half.
Yeah,
because the sun is blaring through. And then they've been talking about, they're trying to tell Jerry like, dude, we need to put up blackout curtains, because the players on the field cannot see because of, they face the stadium the wrong direction. Then you look at like Lucas Oil Stadium has the same thing where one end zone is like a huge glass window.
Yeah, it has the arches. Yeah.
And it's one of those where again, I understand it's like an architectural whatever. I don't care. Like I said, from the renderings that I see, there's the lower 100 level, put a 200 level. That's another like say 5,000 seats. Call it a day.
Yeah.
You can still have the window, but again, the window's way up here, and then you have seats, and then the 100 level.
Yeah, in my opinion, you put more seats. You call it the Bear Den, and that's kind of like the 12th man for Seattle. We call it the Bear Den. You have nothing but only Bears fans can sit there. No one with the opposing team's jersey can sit there. And we have a cheering section, and we'll make it loud and proud. So definitely, this is all going to change in the next 4 or 5 years. So I'm not neither excited nor disappointed what's going on, especially because I know how Illinois lawmakers are. I'm just gonna be like, when it happens, when I see the shovel in the ground, then I'll start getting excited. But
it's got to start happening soon, because like I said, the Bears, I forget when their lease is up in 2030.
I believe so.
Bears lease, Soldier Field. Runs through 2033. Okay. So, I mean, we're about 6 or 7 years away, and it's probably going to take about 2 to 3 years to build a stadium. And all the infrastructure buildings around it, if they're building a pond, if they're building a lake, if they're building,
roads and all that stuff too. You got to widen the roads.
Yes. Like it's going to take about 2 to 3 years to build a stadium. We are now in 2026. So in order to have this ready for when their lease at Soldier is up, it's got to happen pretty soon. That all being said, like I said, I think the Illinois lawmakers have wised up, because I think there's enough outrage of like Bears fans being like, do not, like, if this team leaves Illinois, like, I think that there would be an uprising against Illinois lawmakers. And I think the lawmakers know that, which is why, when the Indianapolis thing came up, like, it put coals to their feet. Like, they're standing on hot coals.
You can have the land and not pay on it until the stadium was built and then start making payments. What? Yeah. What kind of deal is that? Come on. All right, JC, let's take another. Go ahead.
I was going to say, which for Indiana, where that area of Indiana, it would do wonders for their economy.
Of course they would.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you let the Bears leave Soldier Field, not only is Soldier Field then not useful and making money unless it's like major concerts, then you're losing the Bears altogether. You're losing NCAAs. You're losing a lot of that from the new stadium. Not the sports book, the betting, because I guarantee you, like, they're gonna try and put a casino there.
Oh, yes, they're gonna put everything there.
Even if it's a small casino, I guarantee you they're gonna try and put a casino there.
Why not? Why not? They can do
hotels,
it all.
The restaurants, again, you're losing something with Soldier, but you're making something. And again, I know maybe the taxes go to Arlington Heights, but in the end all, Arlington Heights is a part of the state of Illinois.
Right.
So the revenue still goes to the state of Illinois. It may not go to the city of Chicago anymore, which sucks for the city of Chicago.
Oh, well.
Exactly. Oh, well.
Oh, well. JC, let's take another quick break. And on the flip side, we're just going to give our win predictions for our Chicago teams, and then we'll jump off and let everybody eat their dinner and watch wrestling. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll just give our predictions. I know Steven owes me 2 hats, and now he has a job. So I'm going to start collecting. I need to know a new White Sox hat, a new black one for the new season. And I don't know. I might get a new Bears hat. I don't know. I got 2 hats. That's tough choices.
Yeah, I heard from Steven on my birthday, but I haven't really talked to him.
I talked to him this week. He's tired boy now. Not emo boy. He's just tired boy. He's asleep by 7:30, 8 o'clock because he has to get up at 4. So Peter Pan has grown up. All right, we'll be right back after another word from our sponsor. We're so proud. And on the flip side, we'll talk baseball.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/. Or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Back to the TCSF podcast with Big Z and JC. Let's talk our baseball teams, and we're just going to do win totals. And I want to see where JC's Cubbies are going to end up. JC, where do you think the Cubs end up? Did you look it up?
I did a little, I wanted to see where the gambling was.
Yeah.
And basically, it was they're plus 2,200 odds, plus 2,500 odds, for potential World Series, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go, let's go a little on the safe side. I'm going to go 88 wins.
Ooh, I'll take the over on that. I think they win 91-92. I think, though, they're having some pitchers come in. I know they signed one of the pitchers. I can't. They signed. Where they signed?
Yeah, I think what still gives me pause is the closer situation. Again, I know we did some things in the bullpen and that kind of stuff. I know, we got Shota back when we thought we were going to lose him. He ended up taking the deal and coming back. And then we ended up trading for the pitcher out of, was it Miami?
Miami. Miami. Yep, Eduardo something. And then you sign Shelby Miller, who can't pitch till the next time he pitches because he had a second Tommy John. Again, I think that they're kind of in that Bears trajectory where they want to win now, but they're also trying to be smart and have guys all on the same timeline, the PCAs and all those young bucks to have the same kind of timeline. So we'll see what happens with that. But Pacoda has them at 90, and I go 91, 92. I just think that they can dominate the Central because Milwaukee's going to be the only challenge. St. Louis is rebuilding. Cincinnati is a 500 team. Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. And so Milwaukee is the only competition they have. So if they can take care of the Central, they can easily wrap up 91, 92 wins.
Yeah, like I said, I'm keeping it right around like 88, 87, just because, like I said, I watch the Cubs every year, and then it's like, come those dog days of summer, we end up losing games that we should be winning, and like the bats go cold, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's one of those where like I understand the work that we did in the bullpen, but we saw last year where come end of the season, we're like, dude, we should have had 5 more wins. We should have had 6 more wins. Like, we shouldn't be where we're at, just barely making, the playoff race, and the Brewers are looking fantastic. And we're sitting here going, our bats are cold. So again, I think 87, 88, again, if they prove me wrong and they get to your 91 or 92, I'll be happy. But
yeah, definitely 92. I think that secures not only the Central, but solidifies themselves as a contender going forward. Because Atlanta and New York and Philadelphia are going to be challenging on the East. Looking at the West, obviously you have Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, all going to be heavy hitters that will be playing very well. You got Nick Castellanos went over to San Diego, signed with San Diego. Tachman, where did he go today? I think he went to the Mets, if I remember correctly, on a minor league deal or something like that. Like, you could have got Tachman as another person in the outfield to be a defensive replacement for Seiya. That I think that was a lost opportunity for the Cubs. But yeah, the closer,
minor league deal with the Mets.
Yeah. So again, I think the Cubs should do well if they can beat up on their Central foes. Obviously, they're going to have trouble with the Atlanta, New York, Philadelphia, obviously with that, and Los Angeles and San Francisco are going to be contenders as well. But yeah, they can definitely do that. On the flip side, on the rebuilding White Sox, what is your number for the White Sox?
Ooh. What did they do last year? It was like 68, 65?
62, I believe. Yep.
Okay. Let me put the White Sox at 68.
68.
68. I think, like I said, I think the young guys are going to play well. They did really well last year. And like I said, if they can continue the trajectory that they were on at the end of the year into this year, I think they win another 6 or 8 games.
Yeah, so in 2024, they won 41 and lost 121. And then they had a 19-game improvement. So they went up to 60 wins, still lost 102 games. And you have them at 68, you said?
I think so.
And then, so Pacoda has them at 69.6. I am going
I didn't even look that up.
Yeah.
I'm just going on what they did last year. And again, I know they lost Lou Bob. They lost, a couple guys. But again, I think the young guys, like they have a drive to want to win.
Yeah. The boys, these young boys that are coming up, we have 3 good catchers. The infield is pretty much set. We got Mooney at first now. You can play first, third, and outfield. I think where we lack power is going to be the outfield, but if those guys are just really good defensively, the infield guys and the catchers can have, the heavy bats. I think the White Sox, are continuing to sign some guys that can add some depth, some veterans that can help the young bucks. But if those veterans do well, they're going to flip them again and get more draft picks or minor leaguers that can help down the line. But that's where I'm worried about, because the number is 69, and in my head I was thinking 68. I was literally thinking 68. If those young bucks and the young pitchers that are coming up, which I don't think they bring camp with, I think they'll be up like around May, second week of May. That's when they'll bring up the flamethrowers up from AAA. And then you still also have Braden Montgomery. Where is he going to play? When will he be up? Will he have a good minor league season? Will he start off hot? I don't think he breaks the camp with the team as well, just for control issues. But if we can get all those guys clicking, all those young bucks clicking that have been playing together in the minors and are going to be in the, on the main stage at the show, yeah, I can see them winning 72 to 75 games. But that's a big if, and that's a big ask to jump another 15 games. So I don't think they get the 15 games improvement, but I do see an 8-game improvement. So I'm going to go with 68. So I'm going to take the under on that. But I think Chicago baseball is going to be exciting this year. And what sucks about it is if they don't get their shit together, MLB, and the owners lock them out, that's how you kill a sport, man. It happened in '94. We saw that. It sucked for me because my team was going to the World Series with the team we had. Man, we were going. It was going to be us and the Expos or Atlanta. So it sucks.
I think the lockout is coming no matter what.
Yeah.
Just from the simple fact of, like I said, the deferred money situation and some of these contracts, you got to figure that kind of thing out. And
if they can work that out, if they can work out that CBA, if they can work, they have a whole year to work on it. If they can knock it out, and yeah, it might be a little more, I would say, owner friendly contract. But yeah, I do believe that the deferred money needs to be a window that needs to be closed. I think minor leaguers should be getting paid a little bit more. They're not getting paid anything. There's a lot of issues that needs to be addressed. So we'll see what they do. But again, you heard it there. Me and JC agree on the White Sox 68 wins, and then JC's taking the under, and I'm taking the over of 90 wins with the Cubbies. So I'm excited. Spring training starts this week. Games start this week. First game is Cubs versus Sox. I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday when they start playing. So hopefully y'all can watch it.
Yeah, that's funny. I just bring something else up. We were at we were skiing over the weekend, and then we ended up in Kenosha looking at some stuff, and then we ended up in a Lids, and like we were sitting there, like, obviously it's in Wisconsin, so they had more brewers, that kind of stuff than whatever. But one of the people I was with was like, man, I really like that, the White Sox hat with the white sock and the red kind of Bulls pinstripe jersey.
Oh yeah, I have
that hat. And they were like, man, they were like, I really like that hat. Like, even though they're a Cubs fan, they're like, man, like the Cubs, I don't know, like I said, like last year with the baby blue jersey, with all that stuff, it's one of those where it's like, I don't know, like I kind of want Cubs hats to, like, I need more.
Yeah, that was an alternative jersey that they were allowed to have. This year they get a City Connect. So they're up for a City Connect this year. So we'll see what they do. So I did not like the Wrigleyville one. I thought they copped out. I thought it could have been a lot better.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem is that, I don't know who the design team is, whatever. Like I said, the baby, like I know Steven was like, he was in love with the baby blue jersey that we had last year. I didn't really care for the font. I kept saying, like, it's like this old school timey vaudeville font.
It's old school jazz, right?
Like, I didn't really care for it. I guess we'll see what they come up with this year. Hopefully it's something, like even the Bears, like I've constantly talked about, like, the Bears and like their uniforms like need an update massively. Like I understand, like there's a history and tradition with the Bears uniform. but it's one of those like, dude, you could do with like our color schemes with the Bears.
Yeah.
You know, like you do like as a like kind of like the color rush. But I would love to see like a blackout, like just black and orange, like uniform for the Bears.
I want
Black
to do the
socks,
whiteout. I
black
want to do the
socks,
whiteout.
black pants. Like, I mean, black socks, black pants, and like the sleeve, it's just the 3 orange stripes. The numbers are orange. That's it. Like, and then like the helmets are black with the bear head in orange. Like that, like I want to see something kind of like that where like it's just a complete like blackout thing. I think it would be interesting. Kind of like a Halloween kind of style thing. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I really did like the White Sox one last year. I know it kind of got trashed in the beginning because they were like, oh, it's the Bulls jersey and da-da. But I thought it was kind of a cool design.
You know, at first I was like kind of skeptical because I'm like, man, it just looks like the Bulls jersey, the shorts and all that. And then when I saw it at the store, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. And now when I play MLB, I only play in that uniform. Every game I play, I'm like, nope, I need that uniform. That's the uniform I want to play in. So that's definitely it's a banger. And yeah, I've got both of the hats, both styles. So I'm enjoying it, and hopefully they continue to do more cool stuff. So
yeah, and with the Cubs, like again, I love the white jerseys with the pinstripe, blue pinstripe. Like it's such a classic jersey. But like for whatever reason, like when it comes to like the blue top with the gray pants, I'm just like, it's so basic. Like, you know what I mean? Like
it's like spring training.
yeah, it's just like it's like a peewee team that just, you know, everybody's wearing gray pants out there. I'm like, come on, like can we get some better color combo? Like
I'm not a fan of the Cubs road grays. I'm not a fan of those. I like the pinstripe, you know, white with the pinstripe. I think that like the Yankees, very classic. I
Right.
love that. Yeah, I mean, if they can go retro, I guess there's some pretty cool retro, you know, logos that they have. They can do. We'll see what they come up with. But yeah, definitely the Cubs need to step it up this year with, you know, their City Connect, and because it's huge. Like, you know, every baseball fan wants that City Connect because it represents the city, and you can wear that wherever. You're like, oh man, that's a cool jersey. So you want to be able to represent that jersey with pride. So we'll see what the Cubbies do. But JC, it's time for dinner, late dinner, and I'm gonna go watch some wrestling before I go back to work. I've been off work for 5 days, little vacation.
yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with wrestling ever since the Cena retirement.
Yeah. I don't know right now. And speaking of that, Gunther's on screen right now, so
Yeah.
we'll see what's gonna happen with Gunther. But yeah, we'll talk wrestling more. You know, because we got to fill in some sports stuff because there's nothing going on.
Like I
Spring
said, other than like some CM Punk news, like I really feel like the wrestling scene is kind of in this weird place where like the talent to me is less than it's ever been.
and then they just retired. See, you want to start with wrestling stuff, but we got to go there.
But I'm saying like AJ Styles is retiring. Like a lot of yeah. So it's one of those where, you know, some of these guys that are talents, like it's one of those where it's like I need like Braun Breaker to step up. I need LA Knight to step up.
Braun Breaker had a hernia.
I understand, but when he comes back, you know, again, it's one of those where, like I said, some of these younger guys got to start proving themselves. You know, I know you're a big Dominic Mysterio guy. Like, dude, this is your time. Like, you need to start stepping it up. Like, you know, as much as, you know, Cody Rhodes is a guy right now, I've never really been a big Cody Rhodes believer. You know, like I think he's a mid-card guy that they're pushing as a top guy, but like sometimes when I watch his matches, I'm just like, I'm not impressed. Like, you know,
there's guys that take chances and kind of rewrite their script on how they're going to wrestle a match, like a CM Punk. he'll be like, oh no, we're gonna wrestle like this, and this is gonna be the sequence, and it's gonna be different. Whereas, like you said, Cody Rhodes, he's a safe wrestler, and he's gonna do his hits. Same thing with Cena. Cena would in the beginning would go off, off the tangent a little bit, and for big matches he would go off tangent and he would do a different move, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he does more than 5 moves." And that's
I mean, like I said, the match of Cena against AJ Styles, I thought was one of Cena's best matches in years.
Yes.
In years. Like I said, it's just, I think the women's division, with Sol Ruka is like she's like, I think Sol could be a huge star.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like some of the shit she's doing, I mean, it's above and beyond. It's above and beyond what the guys are doing.
That Soul Snatcher move is insane. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go YouTube it. You experience it for yourself. It's a crazy ass move. So they have some young talent. It's just let's see if it's time for them to swim. And if they can't swim, they're gonna sink. All right, get someone else up there. So it's time to put these guys in, stop babying them, and give them the opportunity to do something. So, all right, JC, time to go get some food.
That puts us at about an hour 30. So
yeah, we're about the same time. Yeah, no matter what. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, share, do all that stuff that helps us out. Thank you for sticking to it with us for 290 episodes. That's insane. Thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans. You can check us out on TCSF Pod on Twitter, True Chicago Sports Fans everywhere else. And,
also, go Team USA in hockey. Women are going to be playing for the gold. Men still in it. So go hockey, USA.
Go Illini. I know the Illini bounced back after their 2 losses. I know we don't talk that much Illini basketball here, but we will start to. So for JC, I am Big Z. We'll see you next time for episode 291. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.